bitter, it doesn't matter how bitter and painful it is, but we must continue preaching the gospel. We must continue preaching it because that is what it heals. We are sick and tired of being pampered and blaming our misery, blaming our stupidity to every other thing except ourselves. We must take responsibility of what we have caused ourselves. We must take prime responsibility. And it is only us that we put things right. No person will fight for us. We have to do it by ourselves. You understand? That is why we are creating this awareness all the time. So that people, once you start reasoning in a different way, now you know that you have started, that you have repented, that you are now going to the road of enlightenment, the road of illumination. That thing that was demonized due to belief system, due to faith and others, for you not to reach there. Oh, don't become Illuminati. Illuminati, they are bad people. No. These are people that know the secrets of the world, the secret to control you. Therefore, we must strive to understand this secret. And you can never understand it without questioning. Let me tell you, when a baby is born, it is innocent. The baby is innocent. He doesn't know nothing. As he starts growing from the age of 2, 3, start talking, the world start perplexing him. He becomes surprised at everything. So he questions everything. Everything. Why? He's curious in order to understand the life he has come into. And all those questioning brings him to understand things. You understand? That is how it is. Without questioning, without being curious, you will die of ignorance. They placed us in a cage, I used to say. Now, they want us to be thinking inside that cage that they put us. Not to get out because of maybe one thing or the other. But today, it is no more the case. That is why this hallowed platform is being set up. In order to restore our mentality, our way of reasoning, to put ourselves into critical thinkers, be critical thinkers, making researches to find out things. That is how it is. Therefore, today I am here as usual with our veteran, or one of our veterans, Mazi Ezekulie. He is here with me. He's going to co-host, although I think that is going to be brief because of other schedule that is waiting. But we must preach this gospel, I am telling you. Therefore, without taking much time, I will bring in Mazi Ezekulie in order to give his introductory statement before we go on. Mazi, over to you, please go on. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Mazi Ezekulie, are you there?
I'm hearing you.
There, Mazi, please go on.
Are you hearing my voice?
The whole world is hearing you. Go on, please.
Okay, fellow Biafran, good evening. Mazi Junedu, good evening. And good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be hearing from us this evening. Fellow Biafran, it is very important to listen to Radio Biafra because that is what have broke the camel back. All these years, all these donkey years, they have been controlling their super media. And through the wisdom given to our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he set up this radio. So it is better you listen to this radio so that you can get your information. And when you get this information, you go and make a research. That is most important thing. Not only getting information, you go and do research. If this thing I'm hearing, is it true? Don't be adamant. Maybe you go into argument. How does he know? Go into research and find out for yourself so that it could be beneficial to you. So this evening, I wish all of you, those that likes to listen to Radio Biafra, should stay around and listen this evening. The discussion we are going to having this evening about interest, world interest, what make up of interest, what is interest, something that interests you. something that makes you want to do certain thing for your own self or for collective interest. This evening, I wish all of us we should listen and learn one or two things. Later, we go and do our research. Thank you, fellow Biafran, as we go on. Thank you, Mazi.
There were Mazi, as usual. We must continue. As he says, we are going to have our discussions on the topic that says the world of interest. We are in a world of interest. We will expatiate on it a little bit as we go on. But first of all, I want to read just some news headlines. Nigeria court discharges acquits 3 Abia residents charged for terrorism over alleged membership of IPOB. These people were abducted by the Nigerian police since 18th of February 2021, unjustly arrested on February 18th, 2021. Charged, labeling for being members of indigenous people of Biafra, giving them all sorts of bogus charges. But today they are being discharged and acquitted that they did nothing wrong. Even if they are members of IPOB, it is not they did nothing wrong. So have you seen what we are saying? Nigeria is a banana republic. They don't even obey their own law. You understand? They don't obey their own law. That is why they keep on illegally detaining our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's illegal. Because even under the Nigerian constitution, IPOB is doing nothing wrong. Self-determination is something legitimate. We are doing nothing wrong. It is true, we are asking for a referendum. Through the same referendum in 1961, it is what made Atiku Abubakar to become a Nigerian. Because he was born a Cameroonian. For your information, he was born a Cameroonian. Atiku Abubakar, that was a presidential candidate, that was even a vice president of Nigeria. He was born a Cameroonian. But in 1961, they opted for a referendum and they were granted. Because it is their right to self-determine themselves on how they want to govern themselves. And they opted to be part of Nigeria. Adamawa, to be precise. And today, Atiku Abubakar is vying to be the top man of the country. He was the second man before. Do you see? So, what is wrong in it? Remember that the Nigerian court has never convicted any IPOB family member who they brought to the court. That is why they opted for extrajudicial killing of Biafrans, so that they will not be brought to court, because they know that if they bring them to court, the court will free them because we did nothing wrong. So you see how they wasted these people's time since 2021, and today the court has discharged and acquitted them the same way they did to our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Will they be compensated? The answer is no, because Nigeria is a banana republic, a country that does not respect the rule of law. How do you think that such a country will progress? What makes a country to progress is respect to their law, but they don't do it. That is why. And in another news headline, let me continue before I bring in Mazi. In another news headline, he said Nigerian government approves a $3.45 billion loan to fund the power, education, and other sectors. Imagine a country of 200 and something going to 230 million Homo sapiens, human beings. They are not productive. They don't invest on human resources, no. They are borrowing money from other countries. $3.45 billion in order to fund the power. That is electricity. Before I came on air, I talked with my father. My father called me. He said, no, yesterday, since 2 days, there is no light. There is no electricity. Now, everybody is using generator. Rocha destroyed everything in our land. No road going to other places. Our land is filled up with erosion. They don't care. And you are telling me that this is a place where human beings supposed to live. They are borrowing money from outside in order to fund the power and the education. Whereas in another news headline, Senate dismisses Nigerians' criticisms over 160 million vehicle amid the hardship. Says minister, they say ministers have more than 3 SUVs, 4-wheel drives, and others. Do you see that? Amid the hardship and people, no electricity, the Nigerian Senate, they are giving themselves, assigning themselves extra to buy, vehicles, 4-wheel drive, that worth 160 million for each person, for each members, amid the hardship in the country. He said because the brand is durable. Listen, let me read it a bit. Many Nigerians have criticized the Senate and House of Representatives for choosing to spend the billions of naira on vehicles at a time when the country is highly indebted and facing economic crisis. However, while briefing journalists on Tuesday in Abuja, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Services, Sunday Karimi, said they need durable roads. Because they need durable, I know they made mistake. They need durable vehicles. They want to say, but they write roads. I don't know whether they have editors in Sahara Reporters. I don't know. They need durable vehicles. They wrote roads because the roads are bad. Listen, senators saying the Nigerian roads are bad. I will continue. Karimi said that a minister has more than 3 Land Cruisers, Prado, and other vehicles, and you are not asking them questions. Why us? Do you see? These vehicles that you see, go to Nigeria roads today. If I go home once to my senatorial district, I came back spending a lot of money on my vehicles because our roads are bad. He said they chose the Toyota Land Cruiser because of its cost and durability. Are you listening? Senators, lawmakers that should make law and compel, Nigerian roads to be, constructed. But they are giving an excuse. They say, no, we must buy all these cars, heavy cars, because Nigerian roads are bad. Do you see do you see what I tell you before? That any country, a republic that allows the politicians to be relaxed, the people suffer. Know that the people are suffering. The people are in miserability. You either make the people miserable and allow the politicians to relax, or you make the politicians miserable for the people to relax. You cannot have it 2 ways. That is why in France today, in England today, in Iceland, in every part of developed countries today, their politicians are on their toes. You understand? Anything, I think one time, a French cabinet minister, resigned. Why? Because he used the crayfish to launch, how do you say? And a birthday party. He used all these crayfish, fresh crayfish, do salad. They say, how can they video it? And they saw it. The population saw it and said, look, why should this man be eating whose money is he languishing? Our money. And the talk came out, people came out on the street in order to protest. Said, this man should go. And the man went. He resigned. And that is why you are dying to go to France. That is why if you are in France, if they want to deport you, you want to commit suicide for you not to be deported. Because the population held the politicians accountable. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. That is why the French population, they are living fine. Because their politicians are all afraid. Now we don't know what we are going to do. The people will rise up. The people are at alert. They are alive. They are not zombies like the zoo. They are not zombies. But here in Nigeria, look at what a senator is talking. That they need, because they assign themselves billions and billions of naira worth of cars amid where people are dying of hunger, where people are committing suicide because they cannot make ends meet. People are going to bed hungry. Their politicians are, all of they are, they, because they see that Nigerians are zombies, they are dead bodies, they cannot rise up. That is why the politicians are all relaxed. They are in charge. They are in charge. Do you see that? Well, people cannot talk. People cannot rise up and talk. That's why anywhere I say, anywhere they call democracy, where the politicians are all relaxed, they are okay. They don't have any cause for alarm. Know that the population are in bondage. You understand? But every progressive country holds their politicians accountable. Every advancing country, that place, their politicians are not at ease. For your information, do you know one time in a state in America, I've forgotten that state in America, the wife of a governor of a state in America, he took an extra job. You understand? I think as a worker in a restaurant or in a hotel, working in a hotel, in order to augment, in order to make ends meet for because their salary is not enough for them. That is how it is, and that is how it should be. The wife of a governor working and being paid the salary. But in Nigeria, can you ever think about it? But do people understand this? That is why this radio is highly vital for all and sundry to listen. Because it revives the dry bone. It revives the dead bone. It revives dead people. Zombies. It turns them around to become alive. So that because when you start holding your politicians accountable, now the people will be at peace. People will be living life, not what you have today. A senator, Nigerian senator, they are saying no. Why are you asking? Even ministers, why don't you question ministers? They have make many cars. Well, now what about us? Is it because that we need these cars because the Nigerian roads are bad? And you now start questioning, why don't they fix the roads? Because the population is dead. If the population is not dead, they will rise up one day and slaughter all the politicians. Don't you see what happened in NSAS protest 2020? Don't you see what happened? How they ran away, the politicians, until they injected tribalism into the population, into the comrades that are fighting to free themselves. They injected the tribalism. They know how the weak points of Nigerians, they know. Oh, don't worry. Hey, Igbo people that are championing this. So they even say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is championing it, or championed it, or was championing it. English is not our language. And now you see comrades turning against each other. When they say, oh yeah, let us go, move as usual. People will say, oh boy, not true. These Igbo people, let us suspect them. Because that is the only way to destroy Nigeria. Hatred for Igbo people. That is the common disease to destroy Nigeria. Once you talk anything, then these Igbo people suspect them with this and everybody. Something that they have to fight together in order to liberate themselves, because every one of them is suffering as a people. Now the politicians, they know. They say now, inject tribalism into them. Now they fall apart. When they say let's move now as usual, Yoruba say no, you want to destroy our thing now. Wow, now I'm gonna go do it. Things fell apart, and now the politicians, they understood that now they have fallen apart. They now came and started dealing with everybody, killing people secretly. That time they're killing no more Igbo and Yoruba. They are killing, and some people are still in jail. The NSAS protesters, they are still in jail. They didn't say no, let us they are Igbos or Europe. No. Now they relax. They are in charge. Politicians are in charge. That's why people cannot rise up. That's why Nigerians are living in absolute poverty. Mazi Ekulie, do you have anything to say before we continue to the main topic of our submission today, please? And you go on.
Yes, Mazi, you see, everything started from the beginning. In fact, the colonial master did destroy the black race, especially in Nigeria. It is all programmed. If you remember, before Obasanjo handed over to civilian, 1979 constitution that ushered in the so-called democratic system of government. Before then, you remember that Nigeria was practicing parliamentary system, check and balance. Now, when that coup was that overthrew the Tafawa Balewa government, and then the civil war that followed, after 5 years, Gowon was overthrown, and after another 4 years, we now have a new dispensation of governance, which is democracy. They first send our politicians to America to go and learn the democratic system of America. All of them went there, and when they came back, they said, this is the best. You know what happened? They begin to pamper and organize them in this particular way we are seeing today. There was this hotel called Doba Hotel that was built at Amuwo Dolphin. Doba Hotel. That hotel is a suite, complete suite for all the whole senators and House of Rep. But where they are having meeting every other day is in Victoria Island. So it is a kind of a misplacement of priority. So they now arrange a boat which will be carrying them from Mile 2 at the back of that river there, within Apapa area. There was this boat that was arranged to be carrying them from Amuwo of Doba Hotel to Victoria Island. So at a time, they now built 1,004 flats in Victoria Island. People have forgotten about 1,004 flats. Go and do your research. Because Nigeria, so much has happened to Nigeria that everybody has forgotten everything. But I never forget anything. 1,004 flats. It was built there. And so all the whole senators and House of 1,004 flats, they were all transferred to that particular place. And this 1,004 flats is built in a more luxurious way. And so all of them were there. They were being pampered. In fact, that place is another heaven. What are they doing? Nothing. After 4 years, that dispensation was overthrown because it seems that the governors were working very, very hard to fix their state. So Britain normally doesn't like the progress that will come out of our way. So immediately they are organized with their sons in the military, because all the militaries are trained by them. They organize with their brother or their son called Buhari, and you overthrow the civilian government. And we started all over again. So what I'm trying to say here is that it is all programmed. Why didn't we, a country like Nigeria, with multiple ethnic society like Nigeria, cannot practice a parliamentary system? Major countries in the world are practicing parliamentary system. Why are we practicing American system that is a foreign? Because all the whole indigenous, there is no indigenous American. If you are practicing that system of America, you are not indigenous. It is a system made for non-indigenous people that accommodate non-indigenous people, because all these people you see in America, they are not indigenous. Go and read their history, do your research. They are all from Europeans that went there through the conquest of Christopher Columbus, and they go there and settle and begin to arrange a system of government that will accommodate them. So we now, as indigenous people, that are supposed to be practicing parliamentary system, we go and copy the non-indigenous system. Is it not madness? Now, what is happening now is that anybody that finds himself in that Senate, in House of Assembly, he occupied that place with full force. The injustice, the squandermania that goes on there, he protects it because that is his opportunity in his whole life. If he can stay there for the next 4 years and get away, he will grab as much as wealth he can. So nobody talks about the common man again in the street. So it is well programmed by the colonial master. They are the people operating this thing. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. They are the people. Now you can see the way they are now running the country through their so-called British High Commissioner, the new Freddie Lugard. He's now talking about the unity of Nigeria. So for how long will you be talking about this unity of Nigeria? You fought for unity of Nigeria. Nigeria is not united. Many people were killed. Nigeria is not united. 8 years of destruction and misery. Nigeria is not united. Up to today, Nigeria. Why is this man? Why is this country insisting that we must stay and suffer and die together? For what reason? Mazi, let me just stop here. But the issue is that the politicians, anybody that finds himself in the House of Senate, either by commission or by omission, I mean by rigging, because all of them rig themselves in there. None of them win the election. In fact, if you win the election, you will not be allowed to go in there. They'll sue you to court, and then the people that will handle your case will collect some money from you. Maybe you go and loan some money from the bank. Loan from some money. They know how they do it. So when you loan some money, you give to them, that they decide the case on your behalf. And you go in there and begin to gather some money. Some of these vehicles, they may buy it. They may not even be driving it. Behind, they will sell it off. So that is what we are suffering. Let me stop here, Mazi. We are in mess. We are in a serious palaba.
Serious mess, I'm telling you. Now, you know, the suffering in Nigeria, the worst part of it is that many Nigerians don't understand the problem.
No,
they don't understand. And now every day. Now, hey, Mazi, it's very sad. Honestly. Very sad. Very sad. Okay, we must continue. We must continue. We are going to go into the subject matter of the day, which is the world of interest. The world of interest. I want us to understand that we are living in the world of interest. Whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, that is the reality facing us. We are in a world of interest. Anything you are doing in this world is about interest. Both faith, both religion. Because when you are being told the promised heaven, you are going to go to heaven where you will relax. It's your own interest. That is why you are protecting it. That is why you are going to that religion. So that after that, I'll go relax and enjoy. It is because of that interest you are going there. Nothing more. You understand? So it shows you that we are living in a world of interest. Now, we are living in a world of interest where interest controls the actions and reactions of humans and nations. Make no mistake about it. Interest controls the actions and reactions of humans and nations in this planet. That is it. He's a stupid person. Only Iberibe, like most Africans, they don't understand that they should fight for interest. That is why they are always moved by emotion, not interest. Stupid emotion. Now we must continue. Everything, including religion and others, practiced by human, is purely about interest. When you are promised about reward for doing or believing in one thing or another, it is purely about your interest. That is why you are doing it. Because you didn't want to suffer. After life, you don't want to suffer. According to what they told you, you don't want to suffer. So you will go and be doing wow. Remember after death. A picture is interest. I'm building a background. Every human being is selfish. For your information, I am telling you, I've been saying this here. Every human being naturally is selfish. But human advancement and enlightenment resulted in uniting and modeling selfish interests into common national interests. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every human being is selfish. That is why when you are hungry, you first of all feed yourself. You go and look for what to eat. You never first of all start caring for, who is more hungry than me? let me buy this food so that you eat first before me. No. You scavenge, and that is the interest that is, pushing everybody in order to survive. That is the world we are in. It is natural. But human advancement and enlightenment, narrowed in uniting and modeling selfish interests into common national interests. That is where we are still lagging behind as Nnamdi, as Biafrans, as Africans in general. Narrowing our selfishness and modeling it into common national interests. Now, national interest is a sovereign state's goal and ambition or ambitions, be it economic, military, cultural, or otherwise, taken to be the aim of government. In every national interest, culture is always mentioned. But Nigeria is a contraption holding many nations with incompatible national interests hostage. Because when people are incompatible, their interests are also differs, become hostile to one another. Do you understand what I'm saying? When people are incompatible, as we are being forced to stay in a country, in a contraption called Nigeria. Our interests differ. That is why in 2020, when mostly Southerners, including Middle Belters, we are protesting against a special anti-robbery squad called the SARS. It's a police unit established and sponsored by Britain for brutality against Nigerians and are harvesting their organs. When people rose up in order to protest against this police, Nigerian police, the Northerners, they were in support of the Nigerian police. Do you see clash of interest? Because the people are incompatible. Therefore, their interests become incompatible. There is no way that a country can move forward. It is impossible in this world. It doesn't matter how you shout about unity, peace. Use it to sing music. Use it and, sew clothes and wear it. Write it everywhere in the country. It doesn't solve the problem because people are incompatible. Do you understand me? What these people hate is what the other ones love. Remember, I have talked about the history of Malaysia and Singapore. How they were joined together. They came in, they thought that being big is the best way, being a big country, large country. They can now influence, they will develop more rapidly because they are big. And they joined themselves. Singapore joined Malaysia, become the 14th state of Malaysia in 1963 or 62. But they found out that instead of them progressing, that they had different views. They are different nations of controversial, incompatible interests that they cannot move together. Instead of development, they continue clashing. Riots every time. If the tribalism now become the order of the day, just like what is happening in Nigeria. And they say, no, why I love these people. They always go to find out the root cause of their problem. Not a sentiment, no. Not one people trying to bully each another. They try to say, look, what is the cause of this problem? And they now understood that, look, the cause of our problem is because we are incompatible with ourselves. So we cannot stay together. That is the thing. And in 1965, the then Malaysian Prime Minister sacked Singapore. Direct. Say from today, we are no more going to be one country. Singapore, yeah, move, go your way. And Singapore first person that time was crying, shedding tears like a baby, that we have been sacked. This is to tell you, Singaporeans, we have been sacked out of Malaysia, but we must be equal to the task. That is how they became a country of their own. And today, Singapore is progressing. It stimulated healthy competition between Singapore and Malaysia. They become very good neighbors. Malaysians are in Singapore doing their businesses. Singaporeans are in Malaysia doing their normal businesses, and all of them are happy. Something they couldn't have achieved had it been they are together. Do you see how these people that are telling you that, oh, how can you divide Nigeria? Oh, Yoruba that marry Igbo, or Igbo that marry Hausa, how will they be now? These are useless set of arguments, very feeble arguments. You know, we have been clamoring for people to come and debate, to convince us to do otherwise. But they are not coming because they know that they have no argument. That is why Nigeria is in a quagmire. And they are driving Biafrans into having the Almajiri system of mentality, protecting of thieves and criminals in form of politicians. Because every other people are protecting their own criminals in form of politicians. So we are now obliged to anything concerning our politicians that are all of them are criminals. Now we start protecting them, you know, because we are in the same country. People that you have been sent into the gallows in Biafra land, if we have our republic, if we restore our nation, but we protect them. Because if not, they will say that we are stupid. The others are protecting their own. Why don't you do like the same? Do you see how gradually they are eating up our mentality, making us to start behaving involuntarily like the Almajiris? Do you see they are destroying us gradually? In Nigeria, they are destroying us. Do you see that? So, now let me continue. As I said, every human being is selfish, but human advancement and enlightenment resulted in uniting and modeling selfish interests into a common national interest. That is what the Europeans did. They are a selfish set of people, for your information, like every other human being. But as advancement, enlightenment, made them now to carry that cloth of selfishness and heap it together and give it to a strong government to be selfish on their behalf. That is why today France is looting African countries without mercy, so that their citizens will be living good life. They are looting and killing people. America, the same thing. Britain, the same thing. These whole people, they are looting, massacring people, putting people in misery abroad in order to make their citizens live good life. That individual selfishness, they gather it together and they give it to their government, authorize them, say, be selfish on our behalf. You understand? But they disempowered them. They dispowered them not to be selfish on individual basis. I mean the government. They put them at check, but they give them power. Say, go abroad, kill, we don't care. Loot, we don't care. Bring the loot to us so that we will organize ourselves and we will be living good life. Do you see how it is? National interest is a sovereign state's goal and ambitions. Economic, military, and otherwise, cultural and otherwise, taken to be the aim of government. In every national interest, culture is always mentioned. But Nigeria is a contraption holding many nations hostage. Nations that are incompatible hostage. The interest of a nation as a whole supersedes the interest of groups or individuals. Are you hearing me? Now, in the concept of national interest, there is nothing like sentiments, emotions, friendship, or enmity. No. National interest is conceptualized to overshadow what conscience permits by what state affairs require. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I don't know whether I will explain a bit. National interest is meant to overshadow what conscience permits. So, that is the reason why a nation can lie, deceive, murder, slaughter, massacre, and commit horrible crimes just for their national interest. Are you hearing me? There is no sentiment. There is nothing like good or bad once it comes to national interest. That's the reason why America can just lie and go and invade Iraq, destroy Iraq for their national interest, destroy Libya for their national interest. Thousands of people die and continue dying. The other day in Libya, about a few months back, a flooding, some of their underground river. Do you know that one of the wonders of the world is in Libya by Gaddafi? People don't understand what this man did. He constructed the largest underground river in the world, Libya. Desert flourished, started flourishing, became, place for farming. As you understand? Now, because of lack of maintenance, because the America and Europe, they have destroyed Libya. They can never maintain, and there are some that are still under construction. They don't maintain them again. All those things overflowed and killed thousands and tens of thousands of people in Libya. Have you forgotten? That is the gift of America and Europe. Because of their national interest, they kill. That is why when you come and start talking about good and bad, there are tens of thousands of people in Libya. Have you forgotten? That is the gift of America and Europe. Because of their national interest, they kill. That is why when you come and start talking about good and bad, there to kill the Bob Marley, poisoned Bob Marley. He confessed in his deathbed. Do you see that? Because do you know the reason they killed him? The reason why? They said this man is influencing the lives of millions of people all over the world, including because that was the time the time of Cold War. In the middle of Cold War. I don't know why my thing is let me see. My thing is showing buffering. Let me see what is happening. Let me see whether my voice is coming out or is repeating. Let me see. Please, before I continue. My voice is coming out, but my rather sometimes. Okay, my voice is coming out clear. Please, if my voice is not coming out, please, people should inbox me and let me know so that I check, but don't call, please. Just inbox. Mazi, your voice is not coming out, or that's what I want to know. Don't call. Once you call, okay, everything is normal according to my dashboard. Now, as I was saying, America, they use their agents to kill Bob Marley. Are you going to call it? Do you know why they killed him? As I was explaining, they said Bob Marley is influencing millions of people, if not billions of people all over the world. And they were at the height of Cold War. They were afraid that their enemy, Soviet Union, can use him in order to be fighting, because he's preaching the gospel. Bob Marley is a preacher, preaching the gospel of enlightenment through his music, fighting the West, their evil ideology. So they are not comfortable. They said, this man, we need to get him off. So they prepared a cancer virus inside a nail in a shoe. And after once he put that shoe up, he shouted, "Oh, that there is a nail." That the man understood. He laughed. He said, "Hey, this man is gone." And the virus started killing him gradually. You know, CIA, all these secret agents, they manufacture diseases. They manufacture diseases. That there's some diseases that can kill you, and the people, you know, they will diagnose it that it is a natural cause, it's natural ailment, natural sickness. Do you see that? They have them everywhere. They can manufacture disease for somebody, only for that person. If it touches another person, it cannot affect it. They have all these things. So they just eliminated that man. And before, people were saying, they say that, oh, it's because he smoked too much, so he can suffer cancer. Maybe it's how they killed the fella. Maybe fella was killed, maybe by the Nigerian agents. So they do all this for national interest. They can kill, they can wipe away. America have used the worst weapon in war, weapon of war, to kill innocent people. But these are people that they will tell you about how to respect the law, rule of law, the code of war, this and that. They have used Agent Orange, nerve gas. They supplied the Saddam with nerve gas to kill the Kurdish. They use Agent Orange in Vietnam. They use a nuclear bomb in Japan to wipe away families, to wipe away thousands, if not millions of people. Do you see how things are? That's why they are powerful. You know, there is no way to know that you are powerful if you cannot use your power. That is the root, that is the reality. So they kill, they deceive. A nation can, as long as it's a nation, there is nothing like good or bad. You understand? They murder, they slaughter, they massacre, and commit horrible crimes just for national interest. Therefore, whatever we are doing for this struggle, it is never to appease an individual or a group of individuals. It is never to make people feel happy. You understand? We are not content creators. It is never for any type of sentiments or emotions. It is rather for the collective national interest of Biafra. That is what you should understand. That this restoration, this struggle is above one individual. Do you understand? This is where we fail it woefully. Because we are always sentimental. This one now. You take somebody bigger than national interest. It is absurd. It doesn't show maturity. I am telling you. No person is above Biafra restoration. It is our national interest first. And our national interest is what? The restoration of Biafra. Now, what is happening in the Middle East? That is Israel with Hamas. Should never be viewed by us with any form of sentiment. As I'm seeing, it baffles me when some of our people can be going with sentiment. For goodness sake, I don't know why. Black Africa, you see people that are killing their fellow black people in order to protect, protest to support one people far away in the Middle East. Why it's the people that are fighting against themselves for their reason, all their reasons? Are we in BC? Are we still Neanderthals? You see people that are, why? Look at, we Biafrans are being slaughtered every day, killed. Why don't we make noise about our problem? Now we are going on other far people's problems in order, what is the problem with us? You see black Africans engage in us follow. They protest for or against, for Israel or for Palestine. Whereas we have problems in Africa. They can never protest for their own brothers being massacred in Biafra land. They don't protest because you don't take our lives doesn't matter for us. So how can foreigners put value to our lives? You have problems in Congo. People are being massacred. Watch the documentaries of Congo, the ongoing war they put there by the West. They are being killed every day. People are living like animals. You don't see protests. You don't see Africans rising up and say, no, enough is enough in this Congo. We are right from time Congo war, even before independence till today. What is happening? They don't do it. They are protesting for people in other people in far in Middle East. Why? Because of religion. That's why we will not live. Oh, you see this religion, Mazi. Because that is the only thing that can make a brother to hate his own brother. Start calling him a demon. Because of what they input inside your brain in order to believe. You turn against your brother. Your brother's life doesn't matter. But the people you take all those people far away that doesn't take you as a human being, as your own brother. Doesn't it make you look like a Neanderthal, an early man in their presence? They mock you. That's why here on Radio Biafra, Mazi Chinasa said it. We don't support anybody. We are not enemies of anybody because we have our own problem. People never rise up for us. People never rise up for us. Mazi Chinasa said it to go back and listen to Saturday's program. He revealed that something you didn't know. You that is going, sentiment. In Israel, I want our cousin. Our cousin is our own black brothers. Stop with this stupidity, for goodness sake. Ask any person, any IPOB member, any Biafran in Israel. Do they give them paper? They don't give them paper that they are asylum, that they are persecuted Biafrans. No. Then why are you dying out of stupidity and sentiment? We have to fight for our own nation, our own interests, and nothing more. Do you know that they didn't give Mazi Nnamdi Kanu paper? Do you know? Have you asked why did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu leave Israel? They told him he can stay as long as he wants. But to give him legal paper, no way. But even Britain that we are castigating every day, they give IPOB asylum. Germany Germany does. Spain, all of those countries they do. But if the place you call, when you come, you say pray for Israel, they don't give you nothing. Let us remove this sentiment, for goodness sake. We are not condemning anybody. We are not supporting anybody. What I want us to be judging things, facing reality as it is, not through your useless sentiments. It doesn't take us anywhere. It never takes us anywhere. Instead, it makes us to be looked upon as a very foolish set of people. They laugh at us, and our cause makes it becomes childish. Say, look, leave these are apes, leave them. We are their gods now. They have to support us. Every human being has the right to live. You understand? Nobody's life is more important than another. So, but we Africans, we are using sentiments to prove that their life is more important than us. What a very primitive way of reasoning. And you want to get equal respect. It is impossible until we remove ourselves from this type of sentiment. We are in a world of interest. Any place we see our interest, we grab it. That is how it is. Now we use our diplomatic sense and brain in order to maneuver and continue holding our interests. Do you know that? You don't support people out of interest. Out of sentiment. Look at how they kill us. After all, we have suffered one of the worst form of genocide. Only second to the Jewish Holocaust of Second World War. Who talked about us? Who among those nations has championed our cause, for goodness sake? You that is hiding yourself, sentimenting these people are our cousin. Who among them championed our cause? We have been crying. They kill us, they burn our houses. Who among them have that? Look at Trump. When Trump came, sentiment. People are still, Biafrans Biafrans are still in jail. People were massacred because of Trump. Did he talk about it? Did he one day say, let me ask these people that are for us? Because they see you as a, lower set of human beings. You become excited for nothing. Nothing. Some Biafrans are still today in jail. Those that are alive. They are still in jail. Because they come out for France. For Trump. What a failure. We should learn how to hold ourselves and focus straight to our goal. You understand? And that our goal is our interest, our national collective interest. That is what by now we should have every hardcore IPOB member should, do away with sentiment. That the part of brain that controls your sentiment should have dried up. It should dry. It should never be active again. Anything that happens, you look at it in a straightforward point of view. What are we going to gain? Well, if we do like this, how are we going to gain it? You become stone cold. That is how it should be. Not running from pillar to post. Talking of sentiment. We are in a world of interest. You understand? When you see America supporting Israel, do you know what? Israel is the Western Front in the Middle East. So they are supporting their ideology. Is the Western Front. You understand? That is why they are there. For your information. You understand me? So let us not put mouth in something that we don't know. Something that is bigger than us. We have our own interest. Biafrans are being slaughtered. Look at people that we are in jail for 2021. From 2021 to death. For nothing. They have been discharged. Their life, maybe some of them, maybe their families, and they cannot even find their families again. Maybe their families have separated. Oh, how are they going to? They'll start afresh as human beings. Who talked about them? We leave all these things and start a sentiment. Come on. Let us grow up. Let us grow up. Let us grow up. Sentiments dwarfs us. It makes us look like every time Obi is a boy. Obi is a boy. Because they know that, these people will support them. They will use one word and make you start supporting. Because they steer you up. They know that you are sentimental. You understand? That is the same way. Look at this Supreme Court governor, the vampire of Imo State. The same people that he killed their brothers and sisters, burned their houses, he will use money, buy them, and today they will be clapping for him. Very primitive Neanderthals. Very primitive set of people. This is what we are trying to remove from our brains. Let me stop here before I continue, please. Mazi, please come in. Come in, please. There we go.
Yeah, Mazi, you see, each time you speak, I always listen with keen interest. To be honest, you and the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said so many things. In fact, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was broadcasting, he said even so many things that people cannot even remember and be able to ponder and be able to go and do research and find out exactly what this man is talking about. That man is the savior of our time. You see, each time you do your program, it is like I'm listening to a great lecturer. This issue of self-interest, you have dealt on it several times, if you remember. And I have done my research. Before Europeans descended on Africa, they first put their home in check, put their home in okay, make their home peaceful. They created Belgium, created Switzerland, created Austria, created so many little countries, even Netherlands, that broke away from Germany because they speak the same language. Mevrouw, good middag, good morning. If you go there, almost the same language they speak. France,
even Austria,
Portugal,
even Austria.
I have mentioned Austria. Lastly, they were able to create Kosovo out of old Yugoslavia. the remnant of Yugoslavia, the Serbians that emerged from the ruin of old Yugoslavia. They created a very little country like that and call it Kosovo. They used the capital called Pristina as their capital. So why are they still forcing Igbos, who are up to 50 million population, into a contraption?
More than because you are conservative, Mazi. We are more than 70 million.
I just put it 50 million. I know we are more than that. I just put 50 million is a lot of number. It's a lot of population. So many countries of Europe are not up to 40 million. Netherlands is about 20-something million, if I'm not mistaken. Before it was around 1987, 88. It was around 14 million, 15 million, 16 million. Now it's maybe around 20 million.
Mazi, Iceland is not up to 500,000. Iceland is 370,000.
What of Finland? What of Finland?
Okay.
Why did they come to Nigeria in particular? Nigeria in particular, because they found out that the people that will develop Africa is in that Nigeria, and that people is called the Igbo people. They know us before we know ourselves. And so everything about us was destroyed and continuously being destroyed up to today. Using their machineries, called missionaries, because I call them missionaries, not missionaries. What mission? Mission to enslave people spiritually. Mission to blindfold people. Mission to deceive people. Lie to people and make you blind, forever blind. You and your children will become blind. Your name is changed to Michael. What is your original name? You don't have original name. You answer the name of the ancestor. And through that means you are enslaved. So the Igbos are the main problem of the Europeans. Let me just tell you. Just like in Kenya, the Kikuyu in Kenya are the main problem of Europe. When Britain was dealing with them, they discovered that there is another powerful tribe in Kenya called the Kikuyu. At a time, they planned to wipe away the entire population of Kikuyu away from the face of the earth. But the reason somehow said, if we do this, will we be managing the idiots, or will we also destroy all the idiots among them? Because I refer the rest of tribe. Because when you are gullible, you are almost as idiot. When you are gullible, you don't know your left, you don't know your right. Anything you are told, you take it that way. No argument. You are an idiot. But the Kikuyu were not idiots. And so they descended of them with the same religion of a thing. And gradually, the deal was done. Today, the Kikuyu are nowhere to be found. They have been destroyed mentally, spiritually, and otherwise. Now they are lamenting, just like Igbos are being destroyed systematically. So the problem we have there is the Europeans, not one, not two, not three, all of them, because they did study on us. That was the reason why the Civil War was fought. Last time you made mention, how do we lose the war? Are you not going to lose the war that was fostered on you, that was planned in Europe? The religious leaders, the religious bodies, the politicians were all planning. And the result is what we are having today. Every of our mineral resources has been sold upfront. Every of our mineral resources, even the human being, your organ have been sold upfront. So that is why you now go to borrow money. How much did the Obasanjo borrow to put up electricity? He borrowed all this money, and all this money filtered into thin air, and nobody is to be held responsible. So the main problem the European has today is Igbos in Nigeria. Go and listen to that interview of Harold Smith. You will find out that they are concerned about certain ethnic group. All the whole construction we did during the Civil War, that is what they are using today. This is continental missile. This missile that move in Bunigwe and everyone. That is what they are modifying today. They allow us to bring out our brain. And when the time comes, they ended the war and they entered inside, collected all our product. and take it out. That is where they are developing all the missiles they are using today. Let me just tell you. The problem they have, Igbos are giving them sleepless nights. And what they are trying to do is, their machineries, called the missionaries, are working on our brain. We cannot talk about interest when we don't have our own nation. Because of which interest are you going to fight the interest of a Yoruba? Or are you going to be fighting for the interest of TV man, whom they have destroyed their mind? Are you going to talk about the interest of the Gala people who used to be our brother and they have destroyed their mind? Are you going to talk about the interest of the Fulani whom they have used and destroyed the Fulani? Because the only thing Fulani cleverly did was to rule Nigeria, because they know that what is coming out today, because they have also interest on their own self. Because they are a nation putting themselves together, organize themselves together, and look at the future, look at their past, and say, look, in case if we lose this power, where do we rely on? They say, we have to sell this country upfront. And they sold Nigeria, everything in Nigeria, they sold it upfront. They sold everything upfront. They are the most richest tribe you can ever have in the world, the Fulanis. Let me tell you, they are not losing. You see, look at them. They are keeping quiet. They are not care. They're not interested. Dollar is today how much? It's getting to 1,005 if guys not taking. So when we talk about this interest, the Europeans do everything humanly possible. They kill at will. They do everything undoable to make sure that interest is counted number one. You talk about the Israeli, the original Jewish people were all slaughtered in the Hitler and Benito Mussolini war. Because many people talk about Hitler, but they never remember that there was a man called Benito Mussolini who was fighting alongside with Hitler. They destroyed all the Jewish people. And what causes the Jewish people coming to Europe? It was Constantinople. When they want to do history about the Jewish people, they will start from 70 years, 80 years ago. Is it not stupid? Just to confuse everybody. The original Jewish people that owns that land, that was living in peace with the rest of the country around them, that was living in peace with even Egypt, were packed and sent out all over the European country. And the land was given to a strange people. It was a kind of collective arrangement by Constantinople. Go back to history, because history will tell you this thing. Let us not forget about history, what they did. And today, the remnant of this Constantinople is keeping quiet, as if they have not done nothing. They are keeping quiet, wearing white garments, pretending to be innocent, when they are the main problem of this particular problem in Middle East. The Jewish in that particular enclave was wiped away. The new people you are seeing there are not the Jewish people. They call themselves, even the language they are speaking today was made by somebody. It is not the original Hebrew language. They lost everything. And when they were massacred, the little that remains said, okay, what do? We have to go back to our place. Already, they have drawn the map of that place and call it Palestinian. Originally, it was Philistine. You understand me? So, what is happening today is the European interest is dealing a serious blow to the rest of the world. And they don't care who dies. Now they are assembling, they now say to themselves, why do we have to allow war to continue in Europe? What they did, they cleverly move away the war in Ukraine, because that one is eating them. They send it down to the Arab enclave and the Middle East enclave, so that if anything happened, they will destroy themselves there. These are interests. They always look at their interests. But how do you talk about your interests when you don't have a nation? A nation is people. Nash is nation. People born together with one DNA. That is nation. Nation. You are born together. The Igbo nation. The Hausa nation. We are not the same thing with the Fulani. We are not the same thing with Yoruba. Yoruba is supposed to be on their own. Even if we will have a country, we have a country. But every area should be practicing their own. We have our own president that will be taking care of our own affair. But what did they do today? Because the Igbos is their target. They want to see that Igbo is decimated in this planet of Earth. That is, they don't want to hear anything Biafra. Today, you see what is happening. They have converted all our lawyers, all our politicians, and they are now speaking with one voice, talking how to keep Nigeria. Because all of them are Knight. They are all members of Knight. And what is Knight? Secret Society of Europeans. That is what it is. That is what it is. So how do we talk about our interests when we don't have a nation? We have been destroyed as a people. The Civil War destroyed us. They enter into us, right deep into us, destroy us internally. Towns, village, kindred, they know everything. Why they were doing that, the mercenaries, called the missionary, are also doing their destructive work. Changing our culture, our way of life, our value system, turning it into nothingness. And we are sheepishly and stupidly listening to any jargon, anybody that comes to you and talk about Jesus Christ. And we are not talking about Loladi and Ajimi. We are not talking about Onemogu, who are our ancestral spirits. We are not talking about Ekwensu, who is the god of war. We demonize Ekwensu and call it Satan. Why they themselves have their own type of Satan. So what I'm telling you is that we cannot talk about interest, our interest in that Nigeria setting, until we get Biafra. And for us to get Biafra, we have to be determined. People have to die for getting Biafra. If you want to think you can get Biafra by a negotiation, anybody who is talking that, he's just talking to himself. Just talking to yourself. Because the people who are holding us down have vowed for what they saw during 3 years of war, that if these people is allowed, they will have another Japan. You remember what Japan did? Remember what Tokyo did? If not for the work Tokyo did in Japan, Japan could have been like Nigeria, like Igbo land. You couldn't have been producing anything. But Tokyo, when he ascended the throne, organized a very powerful army and deal with the religious people. Deal with them. Because it was, what do you call that man? Pope Nicola V was mandating these people to go and be building churches everywhere. While the Portuguese were doing their own, they also financed Christopher Columbus. They were doing their own in South America. So you still find these people, they are octopus hand everywhere. And they cover it with white garment, with cross, and all that signs they give you. They speak with a very force of voice. But these are terrible set of group of people that I don't know from which planet they come from. We cannot be talking about interests, our national interests, without having a nation of our own. The way Nigeria is going, we are not going to make progress in life. Instead, they will destroy us. Just that they are destroying us by now. They are just destroying us. Look at, there is no more value in Igbo land. Go to anywhere, except the few voices that are coming up in recent time, and people are trying to put one or two things. But already, our youth have been destroyed. When you don't give the light, we talk about the 21st century, where light is nothing. You don't give the youth the light. You don't give them water. You don't build road. Nothing, nothing, nothing. All you keep building is churches. And you know, you see gullible idiots shouting, rejoicing. What a stupidity. What a stupid set of people. Is that the people you'll be talking about interest? They will be listening to you. And what do you gain by this parish? You only gain that you are going to be donating money. The other time, our people were being killed in Lagos during the obedient movement. that they will deceive Obi to go and be doing that nonsense thing he was doing, knowing fully well he would not go anywhere. After the election, do you know that Catholic Church in Anambra were trying to raise money to build a very giant cathedral in Lagos, not even an industry, where people will be gathering and be collecting money from them? Is that how we come to have a national interest? We are under the mercy of the Europeans. I'm very sorry. If we really want to have Biafra, we have to remove everything about the West, all their chains, all their ideologies, every ideology, both religion ideologies and what have you. We have to remove it and focus our attention how to get our nation. Not when you are talking B, the other man is talking C, the other man is talking D. You cannot have a cohesion. You cannot have a good get together in order to form one particular, a collective interest. What is our collective interest? How to have a nation of our own, first and foremost. So what I'm trying to say is that, what is that interest we are trying to build? Are we going to make this interest to accommodate the Fulani who does not recognize us, who are even fighting for their own life? Of course, they have settled themselves. Like I said before, they have settled them. If Babangida, like the one pastor used to say, deep hand into the treasury of Nigeria in the 80s, 86, collected $21 billion then and handed it over to Islamic Association to go and begin Islamization. 21 billion then can give electricity 24 hours to
you
every
didn't hear the news I read that Nigeria is trying to borrow $3.45 billion. Only 3.4 for power, electricity.
No. They are not borrowing it for power. They are not borrowing it for power because there is no money in the treasury.
Of course.
And there is nothing to sell. There is nothing to sell. The oil, the gas, the anything you have in Nigeria have been sold upfront. You understand what I'm saying? The gas, the oil, anything you have as mineral resources, even our coal in Enugu have been sold to China. Who sold it? Do you remember when they were removing the railway, the railroad, the rail in Enugu? So it had been somebody have sold it. Somebody is taking it to go and sell using the power he has in government. Maybe why that caterpillar is removing those particular rail. Some military are guiding him so that you don't come there and make noise. If you make noise, they shoot you. And where are you taking this rail to? It is sold. They sold everything about Nigeria. Even our foreign reserve, our foreign investment in London, in overseas, has been sold. We don't have anything as a country. We don't have anything again. That is why they go to borrow. That is why they go to borrow. And mark my word, when they borrow this money, they divide it among themselves. They're not going to implement anything because having electricity 24 hours will also hurt China, will also hurt Japan, will also hurt so many countries. Those generator producers, it will hurt them. So they don't want anything to be produced. Because once you have electricity, you can do it, it can be in your room and do so many wonders. But you cannot do any research with generator. You cannot make any research. Because there are so many mistakes you do when you do research. So you need constant light. And they are afraid of it. If we give these people, some people will hide in some way and begin to produce certain things. Look at the other day, one of the biggest places we have in Aba that produces the best of shoes, they call it Powerline, was set ablaze. People lost billions there. Why? Because they know if they allow those people, because these people are now giving the shoemakers in Europe, Spain and all that Italy, they are giving them serious problems. They set everything ablaze. Look at Ezekiel Uzog. The case of Ezekiel Uzog. He produces car from scratch, not assembling. He not going to assemble. He goes into just complete production, not complete production.
Mazi, a car that doesn't use petrol, it doesn't use battery, just like that, moving. Like that, and
Okay.
they can spray.
And
Have a
you see what happened?
Yes.
You see what happened? Immediately he goes to showcase his work. Their master in number 10 done is raise their voice and say, what do we do? This man, like the same people. And they use Abacha, and then the rest is history. Ezekiel Izogo is dead today. There is a man called Eddie Bongo. I don't know if those buses used to be either assembled or not, but he produces buses, fine buses. Eddie Bongo at beside Mpo New Pass. Eddie Bongo. That building is still there. At the back of it, he has a very big workshop where he produces buses. Eddie Bongo. Today, all of them are no more functioning. So our predicament is that Europe you see today doesn't want anything Biafra. With their machineries, because I always mention their machineries. Forget about missionary. They are not missionarying anything. They are the people holding us down. They come and destroy every of our way of life, bringing some cock and bull stories. And then we adopted it, we accept it because it looks fine. Every road that looks fine like this, sometimes it takes you to destruction. So we don't have a nation. We should fight for a nation. We need to have a Republic of Biafra where we can have as a nation. Then we can talk about our interests. We cannot talk about interests of Nigeria because Nigeria doesn't have interest. Nigeria doesn't have any interest. Fulani have been so much smart enough to know what Britain is planning. Today, Britain is in charge in Nigeria as you see it. Look at the way they are trying to rubbish the president of Nigeria, Tinubu. The man who ruled Lagos State for 80 years, just because he outsmarted them using their tactics and outsmart them. Anybody telling you that rigging is a crime, call that man a fool. Anybody who tell you that forgery is a crime, call that man a fool. Forgery is accepted. Rigging is accepted as far as this world of interest is concerned because you are pursuing your interest. Forget about those Puritans, unholy Puritans. They want to pontificate who is a righteous man. Who is a righteous man? All of them have one rigging or one forgery or the other. 99% of average Nigerian has rigging, including their pastor, has some forgery, including their pastor. Everybody has some way or somehow, because it was programmed to be so. Everything was programmed by the Europeans to keep us where we are. And therefore, for you to be great, you have to use their method. You have to use both rigging, both forgery. Be clever. Don't put any religion on it. Do every other thing to protect your interests. That is how Europeans did everything to protect their interests. So why are you preaching to us? And let me remind most of Biafrans. Let me remind you, because most of you doesn't know what is playing out in Nigeria. We have forgotten 8 years of misery of Buhari. We have quickly forgotten it. Just because Obi was used in sidetracking and distracting our attention. The first time somebody who is not an ex-military, who is not an ex-something, emerged as president of Nigeria from the southern Nigeria, and people are kicking against it. Mind what you are doing. Remember, a child that killed his father and mother should not cry to be an orphan. If you kill your father and mother as a child, you don't have right to say you are an orphan. Now, look at what we are doing. The entire idiots in southern Nigeria who have been crying that Fulani is doing that, are now trying to work against Tinubu, who have emerged from the southern Nigeria. For the first time forget about Jonathan. Jonathan did not win that election. I am not campaigning for, but I'm telling you reality as an elderly man. You may be hearing my voice may be sounding like I'm not a young man. I'm not a young, but I look like a young man. If you see me, you will never believe it is me. That is where I'm created. I have a very sound health, very sound voice. I look very healthy because I have a very sound brain. I do research. I have memory. For you to have memory, you need to be healthy. A sick person, somebody who goes to hospital often and on, to be taking poison as form of medicine, because you think that when you go to hospital, they give you better medication. It is lie. They destroy you gradually, make you constantly sick. You think you are healthy. When you are not healthy, your brain, memory in your brain will be lost. You will not remember anything. At a time, you begin to give up to every other nonsense, every other sentiment. So what I'm trying to say is that people should be very careful. What will be happening now is that if Tinubu eventually is removed, they are going to return a Fulani man there. And when that happens, you will see the one that seniors Pope. So let us be very careful. Those that are putting in social media, talking nonsense about this man. That man is, as far as I'm concerned, that man did something that... Okay. Now, we are talking about interest. And so if you are fighting for an interest, what interests you? Others may be interested in that thing that interests you. And what do you do? Everything humanly possible must be done to protect and take your interest. That is how Europeans develop. Europeans used to be a very poor country before. And what did they do? Every kingdom, they go and rob you, destroy you, take everything you have. Were they not with Bible then? They were with Bible. When they started this invasion of the world, they have already conquered Europe with the war of crusade. And so Papa in Rome was mandating all the people. What for? For interest, for their own interest, everlasting interest. And now they are protecting it by all means. They have built their nuclear weapon, built all manner of weapons around their corner. And they are using it perfectly. If you say any nonsense, do any nonsense, they come and kill you straight away. Now they have drone. As I'm speaking now, they know where I'm speaking from. You are no more hiding place in this world. They know. They know. When you are not relevant to them, they allow you to float. When you are relevant and they just look at you as somebody that will disturb their peace, they just one agent is okay for you, and the rest is history. You are gone. But the issue is that an Igbo man doesn't die, and so we reincarnate, and that is why you see all the voices coming out again from Igbo land, trying to sensitize every other person around his corner. You look at social media, what is happening today? It is sensitization is going on everywhere, and that sensitization goes towards our interests that have been taken away from us by these people that call themselves Puritans. By what means did they do it? By force of arm. By force of arm. Don't you see how Palestinians are reacting everywhere? The Palestinians have been deceived. Instead of them to make peace with the remnant of their brother that was slaughtered. Of course, when they were being slaughtered in Europe, some Arab world was funding the slaughtering, was funding Hitler. That's another thing. They were funding the Hitler. Because when Constantinople did what he did in Israel, by handing over the land to Palestinians, and then changing their name from Philistine to Palestinian, then taking all the Hebrew people to Europe, scatter them all over. But because they are people with one common interest, they conquered Europe. The Jewish people conquered Europe. Take over all the industries, all the factories, every other thing that happens in Europe. You must look at that, wonders of Venice. They built that Venice. They built it. At the time, they forgot that that place is not even their land. They forgot their even history. That is why it is very, very dangerous for one to forget his history. If you ever forget your history, you have forgotten yourself completely. Therefore, what happened? They relax. As time goes on, the evil octopus now begin to look at themselves. So we cannot fund any other industry. We cannot fund anything again. There was a time I was watching documentary in the television of Berlusconi some years back, 1995, 94, 95. I was watching his documentary in Rai, because he have Rai 1, Rai 2, Rai 3, Rai 4, and Rai 5. Berlusconi floated that television. So there was one documentary they were making there because Berlusconi was against this octopus. So this documentary was showing how everything was planned and how Benito Mussolini was mandated to go and speak with Hitler. And the day he went to Hitler and spoke with him, Hitler accepted but complained for not having fund. They say, we will fund it. So they instigated. The important thing is to dismantle and kill all the Hebrew people in Europe. And they successfully did that. So the people you are seeing now may be having the blood of their ancestors, but physically, the Hebrew people doesn't used to look like Europe. You have the Europeans. What they are fighting for is a just cause. Palestinians are supposed to have aligned with their people whom they have been staying together, instead of trying to take a reward of unrighteous reward, because the land was handed over to you, and then you take it, and then they draw them out and write it Palestinian, and you believe that the history will be wiped away, and that after killing them in Europe, they will not come back again. It is not that way. It is not that way. Now the chicken have come home to roost. That is the problem we have there. Mazi, let me stop this way, please. You can continue. We can later key in again.
Of course, there we go. And you know, like what I'm saying about today, do not forget that we are talking about the world of interest. I want us to understand this. That sentiment has no place in building a nation. Sentiment. There is nothing like evil, oh, let's be good, oh, let's be no, or let's be bad. No. All play the same thing. This is why, you know, in even our spiritual cosmology as Igbo people, everything works together. According to our cosmology, traditional cosmology, every spirit works together for our own good. Like as Mazi said, when you talk about the Ekwensu, he is the god of war, the god of trick. Call it anything. It's just like, for example, let me give you an example. You see these politicians, once it reaches election time, they need criminals too. They don't need a bank manager to go and snatch a polling box. They don't need how do you say, a teacher who is sitting in his office, being paid very well to go and snatch election material. They need the people that are expendable. They need the people that have had to do it. Even, let me tell you, a nation needs them. When it comes to war, you see people you call criminals, armed robbers, oh yeah, come recruit, enter inside the military because it is your job. And when they go, they survive after years of war, they become crowned. You see, many of them become general, but they started as criminals. So you see, in nation building, everything is important. That is how we Igbo people see it. In our spiritual sphere, every spirit is important. Those that are killed by thunder is important. Those that trick our enemies or our foes in order for us to have a good market, to deceive them, is important. Look at the nation. A country, you have a secret agent, secret service. They have thugs as agents. They have killers. Have you forgotten when, a few years back, when a prominent Palestine official, or is it either Palestinian official or Hamas official, was killed in Saudi Arabia? Have you forgotten?
Yes,
They use a cellophane, polythene bag, to Boya. These are killers. But they are important in building their nation. When it comes to, they cannot come to maybe killing. Now they bring one fearful or somebody that have not seen blood before. Say, go and do the job. No. That is how our spirituality is. Everything is important. But the Europeans, they are very smart. They are very smart. They came, they started seeing, they see that our spiritual deity, our deity that is more fierce, that we call and help us to go and deal with our enemies. They now pinpoint it, say it's the Satan they are talking, and they put it in the Bible. Ekwensu. Do you see it? Whereas in their own, they never pinpoint any of their deities. They have mass.
They don't even have one. They
just call it, devil. It's just a description. It's not a proper noun. It's just a description of something bad spirit. For example, they don't, but they have Jupiter. They have Mars. Instead, they make it very sexy. People start answering Marcelo, Martian. They give names of days and discovered planets as their deities.
Sunday, Monday.
When they come to our land now, something that is working for us. No, I'm not going to go into that, all these details, please. We leave it for Sunday, please. But what am I saying? We should never discard our interest because of sentiment. That is what I want us to understand. Sentiment has no place in a country forward. When they reveal to you what secret agents are doing in order to keep America safe, in order to keep Israel safe, in order to keep all these countries safe, you will not disgust that nation even. They kill pregnant women, they can kill, they can poison, they can slaughter people, they can make people to hate each other, to fight. Look at what they are funding, fighting Boko Haram. Is it not Hamza Mustafa, the former PA, assistant of
security officer.
Security officer. Yes, chief security officer of Abacha.
NSO.
Is it not him that revealed that this Boko Haram you are seeing, they are using this? The real thing cause of the fight is why they put it is because there is one very rare product, rare material they saw in Borno called Californium. 1 gram of it is $27 million. That is why they finance. They are using you, but you don't know. That is how the world is. And those people they are sacrificing, killing every day. Does it matter to them? What matters is their interest.
No.
It's what matters to them. So spare me this sentiment. There is nothing like as long as national interest is concerned. For your information, you have to kill sentiment.
Collective interest.
For collective interest. As long as collective interest is concerned, there is nothing like and when you kill people, you can send out to people secretly. As long as you don't do it as long as you can get away with it, you do it. When they are all secretly, that is how politics is in this world. We should be in the mainstream world, not a world of followers, not a world where we are classified as lower people that are protesting for the interests of people that are far thousands of kilometers, away from us. Whereas we have our own problem in our backyard. Does it make a sense? Does it make any sense? We should be wise. We should be wise. Every human being is created equal and has the right of existence. Both black or white, everybody has the rights of existence. But the problem is that we black Africans, we have even rendered ourselves by our actions and inactions to be lower, not to be equal. Because if we see ourselves as equal, let me tell you, what is going on in Biafra land should stir up even protests all over the world. Let me call all over Africa even. What is going on in Congo should steer protests all over, all over Africa first, before it can catch fire all over the world. But no, they will not do it. When they killed an American, he's a black person stepping on his foot, he said, "I cannot breathe." Protests were carried out even in Africa, because a real human being was killed. But the people are being tortured to death, killed. But organs are harvested in Nigeria, in Biafra. They discovered 7,000 plus organs in containers, fresh organs coming from refrigerated containers from Nigeria.
7,200. 7,200
pennies, fresh pennies in China, coming from Nigeria. Organs of Igbo people, of Biafrans. He never raised up any protest, because you make yourself so cheap. But if it is a foreigner, a white person, you start rising up to protest, to follow, to show that you are, and you want equality in this world. Is it not insane? It is high time we start understanding the dynamics of the world politics. It is right time we start understanding that national interest, we are in a world where interest plays the major role, the main role in everybody's life. That is it. We should organize ourselves and be seeing ourselves as equal to the whole world, to others. By doing what? By taking serious what is happening in our land, more than taking serious what is happening in other people's land. Let us restrain ourselves from judging or supporting through any form of sentiment or emotion. Rather, let's always make sure to do things solely based on our national or collective interests. Let us learn to grab and protect our collective interests wherever it comes from. This is because we are living in a world of interest where there is no free meal in Freetown. When you hear that, they are giving aids to Africa, they are giving, that is rubbish. You see one, I played one clip, one Mazi sent to me. It's on WhatsApp. Before starting, we are a worker in the Ministry of Health in Nigeria. He's warning people about this indomie, about the canned tomato, that these are not tomato, these are pure harmful chemicals they are using, because they see Nigeria as a dumping ground. Why are people not even, you see, even India bringing things, bad products for you to consume, what they cannot consume in their country? Are you going to tell me that they see it as evil, a sin, they are committing sin? They are doing it to enrich their land, for their collective interest. So it is for you to protect your own interests. Let me tell you, that is it. That somebody is powerful, it means you have to swallow others. You have to do something powerful, like America is doing. They have to deceive others. They have to kill people. They have to invade others and scatter them, so that they continue being more powerful. That is the sign.
Make them powerless and become powerful.
Exactly. That is the thing. So let us remove this useless sentiment, either religion or anything, saying, calling people that are far away, saying cousin. Which kind of cousin, for goodness sake? Let us stop this. We are fighting for our own freedom. We are being killed. Do you know how many millions of Biafrans that we are killed? 5 or 6 million Biafrans killed during the genocidal war, 1967 to 1970. Who talked about it? Armenia today is an independent country, because talks, even what happened in 1917 during the First World War, they have to fight and made sure to continue fighting until it was recognized internationally as a genocide. What happened 100 years plus ago? But what happened yesterday, 50 years ago, against us? Some of our people said, "Nah, don't go back. Let us continue. We gotta move on." You are moving on to where? Without knowing your past, you will not know where you are going. Let me stop here, Mazi, because time is going. Please, Mazi, if you have something to say before we open the lines, because I will be very brief in taking calls because of another schedule, as I tell you. Mazi, please go on.
Thank you, Mazi. You see, I continue saying what I'm saying about this interest. We don't have any interest to protect. We don't have any interest to project. Because the people that invaded us destroy our taproot. They destroy us from the root. They make us believe that all our hope is in heaven. They change our name. They change our culture, change our belief, change everything about us, render us impotent. So how do we start now? For example, you are talking, maybe I don't know the type of religion ideology you have in you. Some other person is talking about another religion ideology. Maybe it's from Kumui axis. Maybe the other one is from Yedekpo. The other one is Sokotekpo. And the other one is the Mountain of Mountain. And the other one is Catholic of Rome. And the other one is Anglican of Anglican, England. And the other one is Evangelical of Evangelical. This is the way our thoughts and thinking has been changed. So you cannot have a cohesion. You can never have a nation interest. Our interest goes to individual interest, and that is why we are not getting it better. So these areas of religion is what destroys us as a people. And it is a powerful instrument they use. They know the effectiveness of it. That is why Tokyo revolted and destroyed. You can imagine in 15 years, Portuguese have built 50,000 churches in Japan. 50,000 churches. It was a man called Tokyo. When he ascended the throne, he gathered a very powerful army because he knows that these birds that are dancing in the road, there is somebody beating the drum inside the bush. So he gathered a powerful army and dismantled everything right away. As soon as he dismantled it, Japan begin to have what we call a national interest. They begin to build their country. Today, Japan is #1. And in retaliation of what Tokyo did, that is why atomic bomb was dropped in Hiroshima, in the civilian enclave and Nagasaki. And nobody is.
Somebody is disturbing this line, please. I don't know, please. Mazi, you're on hold. Somebody continue speaking. Mazi, somebody was disturbing the lines, please.
Okay. So they now have interest. They now begin to work according to their interest. They now begin to have a good nation of their own. The world begin to recognize them, what they can do, what they can produce. Had it been they continue with the Ekele Maria and all that stuff, they will be running around like chaplet, running round and round, and they will never make any progress. So we have to deal on this issue that bothers us so much, that they use that same weapon they use in destroying us. It's the same weapon we have to fight against it with all our might and soul, no matter what it will come out of it. Because if we don't talk about it, if we don't deal about that instrument they use against us, we will never go anywhere, because we have a divided interest. We have a divided interest, and they know our weak point. Once you say praise the Lord, everybody will shout hallelujah. What is the meaning of hallelujah? You don't know about it. You don't know anything about it. So, in conclusion, we must first and foremost fight for a nation, which we used to be, which we are, a nation. Call it Igbo nation. Call it Igbo nation. Because all those brothers, all those our brothers you see that have been removed from us, they're all part of us. If you check their DNA, we are the same thing. But they are trying to divide them up, have them off from us, so that they will begin to see themselves as another people. And once that is done, they begin to destroy them. When they entered Gakem, from when they declared on July 6th, 1967, when they entered from Gakem, they did havoc to all the indigenous people, from Gakem to Calabar to Akwa Ibom, to any place. They deal with every other person they find there. When I traveled to Calabar, 1978, with my machine 185, December 22nd, a woman that we used to know, that woman is crippled. I asked the woman, what happens to you? He said that Nigerian soldier beat him and raped her. They raped her and beat her mercilessly, broke her legs because he asked the son to run away. The son is grown up. Even the husband. Where is your husband? Where is your this? Where is that? And they broke her leg. Rape her. So it is not only in the Igbo land they did what they did. They did all the Akwa Ibom area. So what are they looking for? They want to silence us, and they have successfully did that. Thanks to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who have brought this awakening. Today, we are fighting to have our independence as a nation so that we can determine and have our interests focused, be able to develop ourselves, be able to leave something for our generation. Because this struggle we are doing now, it is not for us. So, and if we stop, our next generation is finished because they are working very hard to make sure that this particular, because you see, they remove history, 1970, immediately the war ended, they removed history from school curriculum so that nobody will know anything. And they waited after 50 years when those who are knowledgeable enough must have died. When those who, those who were adults, all of them that, because those of the adults, maybe 30 years, maybe 40 years, you can remember something, all of them must have died after 50 something years. And then they resurrected the matter again. And so when Nnamdi Kanu has come up to bring this issue of Biafra and begin to sensitize us, we have to work. Those that have believed in this preaching of Nnamdi Kanu has to work very hard, very, very hard. Not for yourself. Work for our interest, collective interest of next generation that is coming, not for our own self, because we will work for them and then they will enjoy. Because the Europe that you see today that are enjoying, their forefathers, their ancestors worked for them. And today you see them everywhere in develop. They are all riding brown new cars. Everybody is okay. You are paid every month. If there's work, you go and work. If there's no work, you sit in your house. In Netherlands, they are building flats. Once you are 18 years, they are give you a flat, give you anything, pay you the maximum salary or minimum salary or maximum salary. They pay it to you. Once you are 18 years, they register you at 1,000 euro and start house. You become. There's no discrimination there. So they are enjoying the work of their forefather. Those people that laid this foundation are no more. So why do we think that we will come and enjoy the fruit of our labor? No, we are working for the fruit of our labor to be enjoyed by our children unborn, our next generation. So everybody who is fighting for this freedom should have it in mind that what we are fighting now is for the children unborn. If we fail, they have all fallen because the people who are against us are gathering momentum every day. They are saying over their dead body. They are even using our prominent people in Biafra land to see that Biafra did not come because of their own selfish interest. They will live today and die tomorrow. They will live today and die tomorrow. They don't have anything for the future. And so the foreigner will take up our place. They have programmed everything, but we have to reprogram everything. Thank you, Mazi.
There were Mazi. We are going to pause here and go into a few minutes break so that when we come back, I will open the lines just to take few calls. I say very few calls, 2 or 3 calls, please. Therefore, do not go away. We shall be right back. Do not go away. We shall be right back.
I will do my job. There's not what happens for example, Pekia? They know what is Pekia. million, including these are people that have reached the next look at the generation of those evidence. So please, we need to stop. Finally, we are not sorry. We are not sorry. Non like all the companies at the lab bed, you see the level of system. After the finding, everything is indicate very clear. At the lab bed, let's go over there, you see 6.2, 8.9, 11.6. Then here, and they become about with the hope that this author is not lifting. We told you. When you born with iPhone, fight cholesterol, application of causes, you can't take it. You see, except you give it in that case, you really not taking it normal. Some of you have experienced it. Yes. Information. Another point is, let us find out and do it. That is how you not do what. Not speak, that's where they go. You not speak because of the preservation. You will see what happened to red oil? What happened to red oil? What happened to vegetable oil? Olive oil, what happened to them? Look, if you go to Ghana and tell them in Nigeria, we need to olive oil for free government. That's exactly your problem. What they use it for cooking?
Welcome back. This is Radio Biafra is coming to you through the office of Radio Biafra. My name is Ben from the office of Biafra. I am my partner. Today is 2050 of October 2020. Remember, we talked about all the things that we are living in today, the reality. So we must be as real as our lines are. Please, today we are not going to make it. What we are going to do on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp line is 1405 142 405 142 547. Call us your view on the issue. Just for you call, I will enter. So we have to be telling so on this WhatsApp and see in order to make a few contributions because we could stay long. The world we are in, we have to. It is because of the position of Nnamdi Kanu. It was because he's telling us not in way. He's telling us what is the face. You understand? Not sentiment. You know? That is it. So that is what we continue to have a first caller. What's up? Welcome to
Yes, Mazi.
you are coming up clear. Yeah, you are coming up. Go. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Mazi. I'm going from Mazi. Listen, I don't know when to say it. It's a suggestion. It's going to take a little bit. I don't know if you can permit
No,
me.
please, you have to. Yes, you have to be very, very. Okay, please.
Mazi, there is this. It's a kind of tradition that I want us to start practicing. No, our ancestors, but it's like just pause. We are not doing anything. So I came up with this. I think that it will make us, it will bring us together, you know. So the tradition is like maybe Ito Obo. I want us to make it the fifth. You come and join, you understand? People that if there's if they can move it anytime. So if the child is still born in a year, if the child is like 1 year, they are not now so that you can understand yourself. Now, maybe 1 year. Every village, you have law. Village. Then the year 11 years. It's all the 23. It's all okay. Everybody will be involved. Both look at how near like people passionate. I 99. You say for 6. Upon which or
Yeah, well, I think we have gotten. You know, there is some. We have to get trying to fight for seats. I know. It's a good suggestion. No, the issue is, thank you very much. Let me take another caller. We should understand that what we are doing is trying to.
hello.
Yes, Mazi, hold on. Hold on, what's up? Hold on. Yeah, hold on, what's up? Hold on. What we are trying to put ourselves, our brain in motion. We should of because once we are saturated with knowledge, it will make this even it will make this restoration more and to restore a country where we will be really we have to understand that. So let me caller on WhatsApp, please. You can now go on come to the can you go on, man?
That's not okay, but it's okay. Well, my contribution is this. The problem is in this story, the first version, I want you to understand. You know how people are so much and they are one problem. Us. We think a lot when I say how people don't have a way to problem. When it's fun to it. Most one thing that as a freedom fighter, I've been in this story for 50 years now. I have zero sympathy for any politician. Zero sympathy because politicians are hypocrites. So to raise up, understand the need of everywhere that it is before us. It must be only we can use what we need. We can use anybody, but to see what is the position so for your
There, there's something I want to also clarify your like what you say. You know, I don't know what you what how criminals or
I'm looking at how
a general. I know, I
I'm to criminality.
yeah.
So what I mean is for interest, we can use anything available in our disposal to get whatever we want at the moment. No, about going to it can never happen. So we will try to do that off because we really recognize by Kelowna
Yes, please conclude.
and Mazi Florida. We have one of is where we start. That is free. Decide what we will do because there's no happening in one ship. So
Sometimes there are some things you need to types of translations and so that's why I pick up that place so that we clarify it and it is being clarified in it is post the so I think as said we have to stop putting calls here please. We have to stop stand this to for some time to it's allowed. So remember talked about the war. There are, there are many things involved. Talk about our people. We sentimental. Our for you to please go on, continue to make your
Yeah, Mazi. Thank you for bringing me in again. Fellow Biafrans, we are people so hated by the Western world when they discover whom we are. I want you to understand this. Maybe living in Canada, UK, anywhere you are, because even though there is this general hatred for black people, but specifically you as an Igbo man in Nigeria, who they think that will be an impediment to their success in that particular place. Because when they divided among themselves, they took one of those beautiful areas and they jammed Nigeria, they jammed all the red forest and all the monumental demonic country. And today it's affecting us. We cannot decide for ourselves. We cannot pray for anything. We cannot say anything. Nothing we say before. No even amount of any idea you have. All of them very shit. Until we have the we talk about that. This interest we are talking about is very, very manifestable when we have a nation of our own. Yes, we used to be a nation. So we need to hand over to the next generation a country that is well organized, that they can start from there. And you know this thing they are handing over to us. You know this Nigeria of thing that is not killing every day, destruction of life and properties. I mean, it's not working. So they don't have vision, they don't have interest. It's not even a national interest. It's not a nation. It's a country created by foreign. So we need to have a vision of ourselves so that we can get to build it and hand it over to the next generation. They will continue from there. So if you are one of those that are fighting for this freedom of Biafra, freedom of a nation, freedom of Ndibo, and in particular, because we use that Biafra because that is fighting for freedom. 1967 as a people, we choose that name. Remember, we are called the Igbos, who was hated so much in that territory. They are in one unity because they are seeking for their interest, collective interest, for them to grow. They have gone. They deny us anything they get from us. They say, we are primitive, we are useless, we are this, we are that, because they have destroyed us from grassroots. So now that we have this area of opportunity, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, holding there, thinking that when they hold it, they're going to destroy them all. But when you are holding that man, that Nigeria will be every day, this Nigeria will be going down. So we need to get Biafra so that we can get fight and have our interest enshrined. You are upon that interest, then hand over a good nation to our children unborn. Nigeria can never do any good thing for us. Please, study on your own self. Bypass all those sentiments and look at the war in proper perspective. Look at the war, how we were conquered. King of Belgium killed 15 million police for their own interest. For their own interest. It doesn't matter who died. Belgium King Leopold killed 15 million human beings. Nothing mention about it. Everything goes. I mean, for their own interest. When you're talking about your interest, collective interest of Biafrans. Because we have to move with our brothers. If you are from when you come to Benin, you didn't bring Ibi language to your country. Why do you speak Igbo? And tell me you are from these are drunk who are drunk with kai kai. So we need to bring them. That's why we choose them. If every one of us would collectively fight for this freedom with all our might and our soul, so that the hand that is holding us will lead us. When they see us without the sentiment, all the purpose in terms of what we do, we are not consistent. Tomorrow we say this. No. They look at us and they stay with us. We need to have independent of Biafra, a formidable nation. Thank you, fellow Biafra. Listening this.
Yeah, Mazi, thank you. We need all these where we are going to. And the problem, letting us understand that we are not a world of sentiment makes you. Sentiment is just like alcohol. Once you are filled up with alcohol, if alcohol blood, urinate, and now you and start and wait till I do before self. That is how it works. We should be in a world of reality, a world of people, we are nations, we are collectives. They can stop, they can exterminate. You understand? And when you are going with and when you will not, that is a so that's why in a killer group, uh, they have their poison, they have their lions, they have a people crush, they have special, they have different types of squad that can do it at a given time. Just remove all three elements right off backwards so that we will appreciate it. Also, say in happier, it's clear success for a colleague. Both of them, because of his vision, is a us as a harm that will take more than a decade to correct. See how bad it is? Because selfishness is like call it a pump. It continues spreading. It continues, but collective interest. We lower in order to heighten our collective interest without sympathy. Thank you for listening. Biafra is our religion. Biafra is who we are. Biafra is our identity. Biafra is everything we have. Everything. Therefore, we have no and sure, you understand. We cannot forget it is our we have not we have not we have not so for the war in that our lives you know what, there are lives that are big and we are here by making us look like our lives are big. Do you see how when the uh, or we are in different parts of the in other places pro Palestinian pro what is happening in your land? In the brutality that is going no protest. You cannot come outside it except only you come out spontaneously and say no, enough because they don't see even black people don't see us as a counter to Africa. These are but they are proud to uphold other. Isn't that we should get away from this? Thank you. With our veteran, Mazi.
Free Mazi, Nnamdi, Kanu, battles through freezing sunset, no jails. Mazi, Nnamdi, Kanu, a prison out of conscience. I'm all for all, we are for someone what's please it's time to free him now. Mazi, Nnamdi, Kanu, battles for freezing sunset, no jails. This was reaction. Oh yeah. This was reaction. Freedom. Reaction. Oh yeah. Free. Imagine under candle. Prisoners of
The difference on Biafra house the continue to land lie that this heart where say it as it is the leader of North in the Nigerian secret police confined 2021 are there in the Nigerian courts. But lo and behold, there being a banana there to obey the court was made in 22 is and few said it right. Nigerian government cannot that he will defeat them in their Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not done what yes. So what they are doing, Biafrans, indigenous Biafra, Nigerian government is committing crimes against humanity. Whoever what imitation yeah, quick nation. What destroying our land, our houses, our immediately. We want the community to come against the same way they are talking. Occupation everywhere in Biafra land. You see military 70 today. We for that. That is calculated, move out of our past all over the world. So that's what we're of Biafra. As what we are asking for is confirm want to be on. It is never it's not a crime. Consider crime. That some part of Cameroon, Adamawa, Nigeria. One time vice president of Nigeria, who was a presidential candidate in 2023 election.